for this is to go over what the students are going to need in order to graduate. And we know that our students are taking any number of classes and any number of majors. So it's important to focus on what it is that they need in order to graduate. I suggest a half-hour appointment, and Mr. Fadella set aside the following dates: October 12th, 19th, and 26th, for days just for the Collegiate Academy students. So he's mapped out his whole day so that we can go see him. I had students from the first meeting sign up. I will put that list up on an email of what times are still available if you want to use those. Otherwise, you can choose any other date. Or maybe you have another counselor that you've been working with. That's fine with me as well. But I want everybody to take care of this before November 1st. Reason being, we're going to be scheduling for classes. I want to make sure everybody has what they need in order to graduate. I asked the students to bring a program evaluation. If you have that with you, please pull that out now. I had the students print out a copy for me and one for themselves. What I noticed when they did that is they printed out the copy and handed it to me without looking at it. So what I'd rather have you do at this time is take a good peek at it. Do you have one there? Who has one handy? Just use the one. Thank you, Christopher. I'm not going to show your grades. They're awesome, but what the students did is print out a copy that looks somewhat like this. Now, there's been some confusion when they print these out which catalog to use. I looked at Chris's, and his says the 15-16 catalog, which is the current use year. However, we can use the catalogs from when our students started, which would be the 13-14 school year. Yes. The 13-14 school year tends to be a little less restrictive than the 15-16 catalog. So if you printed out yours with the 15-16, you may want to take another look at it. Even some of the counselors were confused because our students technically didn't declare majors when they started. But so that all of our parents and students know, you can use the 13-14 catalog for your requirements.
So is that online?
That is online. Students, you are familiar with this, you can tell your parents, but it's under the student menu, and they can pull up program evaluation. Also on this sheet, what they'll do is choose their major. Chris chose, what did you choose here, Christopher? Okay, he chose pre-engineering, and it says here that his class, he needs 60 credits in order to graduate. Then it tells him how many he has completed and how many he has to go. So this is a great indicator that he can fit, so that he can fit in all the classes he needs in order to graduate. Another thing it talks about is his overall GPA. So he can compare that to what he thought he had and what he actually has. As you go through the evaluation, what you'll notice is it tells whether or not that requirement is complete, and it spells it out for the student, so there should be no surprises at the end. Okay, thank you, Chris. I'm just going to hold this here. However, remember, our students are getting not only an associate's degree, they are also getting the high school diploma. So that means they have some high school requirements to fulfill as well. So I want to take a look at those, just reminders. Every student from Dearborn Schools needs a computer applications. Now, this is wonderful because some of you even completed it way back in 7th or 8th grade. However, the college also has a computer requirement. If you were relying on what you did in 7th or 8th grade to count towards your college, it's not going to work. Just because you completed the high school requirement doesn't mean you completed the college one. So most of our students are taking CIS 100 in order to complete that requirement. That requirement also does show up on the program evaluation, so it will let you know whether or not you need to take that. Remember, students need 4 high school credits of math through Algebra 2. For most of our students, that means Algebra 1 as an incoming freshman, Geometry, Algebra 2 as a junior, and then some college classes. Remember, 4 credits would mean a total of 8 classes throughout from freshman year on, and at least one of those classes has to be completed in their final year, not their senior year, their final year. So every student should be enrolled in at least a math or math-related class this year. Okay, I see some parents looking at their kids like, it's time, there's still time. 4 credits of English, 3 of which were completed at the high school, and then all of our students complete English 131 and 132, and that counts for their final year of English. 3 social studies, as long as they completed 2 of those at the high school, well, actually 2.5, and they completed their political science at the college, then they've completed those requirements. Visual, performing, and applied arts, this is almost any elective, so most students don't have to worry about this. If they have wood shop or an art class along the way, they'll have completed that requirement. But I would be remiss if I did not point out to you that you can still retake the ACT or the SAT, the new SAT, if you want to improve your scores. Think about it. The last time you may have taken this class or taken this test was the beginning of your junior year? Is that right? Yeah, beginning of your junior year. Think how much you've learned since then. So I would suggest you still have time to take that test, ACT, again if you choose to. Even if you're applying for college and you may not get your scores back, they can always update your scores once they come in and change their admissions decision or offer you more scholarships. So keep that in mind. Let me take a breath there. All right. Questions so far? Yes.
So how do we easily find out what high school requirements they've already completed? I'm sure we don't remember.
All right. Well, good news. I keep an EDP. Their high school counselor keeps an EDP. If you pull up the transcript, you can count them up, and I'm going to talk about how to get a transcript yourself to double check. Right. I'll be talking about that in just a minute. Okay, any other questions so far? All right, let's go on. All right, the college requirements. I said here CIS 100 or CLT 100. CLT 100 is a computer test students can take. It's a test that they can take that will take care of their high school requirement and their college requirement. So if they still have to take a high school one, if they actually take it here at college, that would actually complete the requirement. The test is normally $20. We've negotiated that. We have some test dates down here. October 17th, there's 3 test times, and December 5th. If you are interested in taking one of those tests in order to test out, let me know. I'll register you, and you will not have to pay that $20 fee.
Didn't some of them take that test last year?
Some students already took this test, okay? But you may notice that it has not been recorded. We're working on that.
So if they already took it, they don't need to...
If they took it and passed, and I think he's okay. You can take it any of the times that are listed. If you look under fall, when you're looking at classes, under the fall, you will be able to see all the different test times. If you choose a time other than this, they'll ask you for your $20, which isn't the end of the world. And remember, all students need to complete English 131 and 132, as well as their political science class and requirements for their major. All right, next topic, college visits. If you haven't already started, it's time to start visiting different colleges. I can just set up college visits, and we'll talk about the ones I've set up already, but you're really not going to know how you feel about that college until you set foot on it. Way back when, in the dinosaur ages, Mrs. Armstrong visited Kalamazoo College, which my mother said was so beautiful. And it was the hardest college to get into, and it was prestigious, and so she had me go up there. And it was very beautiful, but it didn't feel like me. It was small, they didn't have a football team, it wasn't my kind of place. So what I did is I wanted to go to the University of Michigan Ann Arbor. And so when I attended there, it felt good, it felt big, it felt a little scary. We pulled into a gas station on campus, and my mom said, go ask them where U of M is. And I asked the gas station attendant where U of M was, and he burst out laughing. He goes, "You're in it!" And as you know, in Ann Arbor, the campus is built within the city. That was cool to me. And then I walked around campus, and I was walking through the Diag area, and I heard some students in front of us that were walking, talking about Shakespeare. I did know anybody that liked Shakespeare beside me in high school. And to think about walking around this campus and there were other people that liked Shakespeare, this was incredible. I knew this was the place for me. So we can do all the college visits we want, but we need to go visit. And instead with some of the extra funds we had last year from the bookstore, I'm setting up some visits to some of the college campuses locally. And so stay tuned to your hawk mail for upcoming visits. However, I have a couple already on plan for you. So October 12th, Michigan State and Wayne State will be here on campus. So you can mark your calendars if you'd like to attend their visit. We are cooperating with the early college program, so I'm inviting students from both programs to attend. And October 8th, University of Michigan Dearborn will be on campus to talk. I gotta check on the time. They just verified that they would come, but I didn't have time. There's also an open house to get a feel for the campus on October 3rd at U of M. Some very important dates coming up. There's a college fair at Edsel Ford High School on the 30th of this month, where there's over 30 colleges and universities coming to visit. It's right here in our own backyard. You can hear about some of the more popular schools. But if that's not enough for you, on October 7th, head out to the Schoolcraft College Fair from 6 to 8 p.m. There are over 80 colleges and universities, not only in the state of Michigan, but elsewhere. I attended that last year. If you want to see some of the bigger colleges, expect to wait in line. Okay? So I don't think that's necessarily the best place to visit some of the bigger ones. But I have another idea. It's great to go hear these colleges, but what do we at the Collegiate Academy most want to know? How many of my credits are going to transfer? Am I going to be admitted? What kind of scholarships am I looking for? So I've got something special planned for us. On October 12th, from 3:30 to 5:30, this is for parents and students. The top 7 schools that our students seem to be interested in applying for are invited here under one roof. We'll be set up in the basement of Building A, and each one of the colleges will set up in a different room, and they will do between 2 and 4 presentations that evening. So let's say you want to look at Oakland University, Madonna, and U of M Dearborn. You can go to each one of the classrooms and talk to the admissions reps personally. You don't have to listen to, this is why you should come here. This is directed specifically to our students. Some may be even interested in doing on-site admissions. Later on in the program, I'm going to talk to you about how to print out your transcripts. And if you print out your transcripts, you can take them actually that day. They can evaluate your grades based on those transcripts and give you a good idea if you'll be admitted or not, and also what kind of scholarships you'll be looking for. Okay? So, we've never done anything like this. We're going to keep our fingers crossed. The colleges seem really excited to have our students. I couldn't believe that even some of the bigger schools would come to our little Collegiate Academy for this, but they are excited for our students. So I'm excited to bring them to you. Any questions? Yes?
So we can just, like, walk up to them during those times?
Right.
Ask them questions?
Yes. So what we'll do is, let's say each one of the 7 rooms will have a college in there. And let's say you want to go to the 3:30 session for U of M, the 4 o'clock session for Michigan State, and the 4:30 session for Oakland University. Okay. All right. And
Will they need their ACT score with them before that?
the ACT score will also be on their transcript when they print that out, so they can use that to show at the place. Now, if they're retaking the ACT, obviously they won't have it in time.
Well, we're starting the program. I know we're talking like, you got to already work with some of the schools that they would treat graduates here as freshmen. They would be able to get the same scholarships as freshmen. But at the time, there was only a few of them that could actually go to work with another. If we work any out of it, it's CMU.
It's a great question. It's an awesome question. So this past week, I attended a conference called Promoting the Publics. And all the public colleges and universities were there in attendance. I took our business cards and I handed them out, and I talked to our reps specifically for our program. Nearly all of them were already familiar with our program, so they knew about the Collegiate Academy. The They were familiar with other programs like this around the state. They all said that they would look at our students as incoming freshmen, so they would look at them for incoming freshman standards, which is GPA, ACT, your SAT scores, and of course your essay and the other letters of recommendations. A couple of them even said, if we see that you have transfer credits and there's a transfer scholarship applicable to your student, we'll also consider them for transfer scholarships. But predominantly, there are more and better scholarships for freshmen. So that's a really good thing.
Okay, so that's what we're like the Central has a Central scholarship. It's for 4 years, so it's still honor it for at least 2 years.
Exactly. They will honor it, and some of those scholarships, even though she's coming as a transfer student, she gets 4 years of eligibility. So, I can't say for sure because I didn't talk to them specifically about Centralis, but it seems that she would be able to take classes that may transfer to a master's program using that scholarship.
Well, when you get up in there, especially at Central, they said 2 cents. Really, once they got into the program, that they were, it was pretty much a lockstep program. They take 8 semesters, so you're there for 4 semesters.
4 semesters.
4 years, and they almost need that 4 years. They might not take full-time credit.
As Mr. Phillips was bringing up here, a lot of the scholarships are 4-year scholarships. You may only need them for 2, but it's nice to know if it takes you a 3rd year that the money would be there for our students. Okay, I said the breakout sessions will be in Building A. That's where my office is, in the basement. And you can bring your transcripts, both your high school and college. All right, let's talk about how to get your transcripts ready for this. If you will pull out the piece of paper that says parchment on top. In the old days, we put a stamp on something and sent it over to the college and hope in their mailroom they sorted it properly and put it in the right pile. Those days are gone. Everything's online now. So this gives directions how the students can register for parchment. It walks through how to make their profile and how to set it up. If you look in step 4, I underlined the word yourself. You can actually have the transcript sent to yourself. And Marwa's nodding over here because Marwa was my guinea pig, right, Marwa? Raise your hand. Okay, so I said, I want to see if this really works. And Marwa happened to be near my office, so she tried it out. Tell me what your experience was like.
So it was really easy. Well, at the beginning it was really easy. We had to figure out how to order the transcript. So first we signed up. I made my profile and I just answered some questions. They give you the questions and you answer them to fill your profile. And then on the home page there's a button where it says add organization or your school. So you click on that button and you put whatever the high school you're in. I put Person High School. So after you do that, you just go to the account button on the top page, and it takes you to a page where it says transcript on the top. You press on there and it says order your transcript, and you press on there and you can email it to yourself, the official one, and it gives you a copy on the site too when it delivers. So they send a message to your high school, and they send it to your email.
So fairly easy to take care of, no cost, and you can have the transcripts within a week or so? Less than a week.
3 days.
So it's not a bad idea. Your transcript shouldn't change before the October 12th date, so you could go ahead and order those now. If you expect to apply for colleges and you haven't finished your applications yet, you can still go ahead and send the transcript, and they'll have it there on file, so to put them together with your application. On the back side of the parchment document, you'll see that there's a bunch of other things that you can do on parchment. You can store a lot of info, but what I like is the find and compare colleges. So if you're looking for something that has a bachelor's degree in zoology, you can put that in the state of Michigan, and it will give you a list of different colleges you could apply for. Okay? So you'll have to explore parchment. Yay. Sure. So the question was, if you forget to send it to a college, can you go back and add? Yes, you can. The way parchment works is once you put in your high school is notified to send the transcript. That transcript, and correct me if I'm wrong, Myra, it includes your test scores as well as all of your grades, right? So it'll have your ACT scores on that. So this is the perfect document to bring with you when you come to the October 12th date. Another thing is you can do the same thing for your college transcripts. It wouldn't be official, but you can all go online in the student menu and print up the college's classes that you've completed. Yes.
On the transcript that I looked at, our ACT scores were the ones from March, the ones we did at school. But I looked at it later and got a letter score.
And that wasn't on there? Okay, so she brings up a good point. The ones that the high school transcript may have are the ones that you took in March of your junior year. However, if you took your, since then, unless you sent the scores specifically to go to the high school, then they may not be on there. Okay? So it's $12 per credit per report. You can contact the college board and say, I want them sent to these places. Now, you may already have sent them, or your student may have already sent them on the day of the test for free. But after the fact, if they didn't send them to Central and you want them to go to Central, you'll have to pay the $12 and they'll send them. Okay. All right, we're on the back side. How am I doing on time? Yay, I'm ahead of schedule. Let's keep going. All right, filling out college applications. Yes, it is time. A lot of the things that are going to happen this year are going to revolve around holidays. So filling out applications should be done at the very latest by Thanksgiving. Ideally by Halloween. So that gives you some time to still do this, but not a whole lot of time. We want to get those applications in the mail relatively quickly. Most applications are done online now. There's not the paper copy. Parents, you may remember when we applied for college, you had a paper copy, you do a typo, then you have to decide if you want to retype the whole darn application because it's on yellow paper and you don't have white out that goes with yellow, and so you have to decide. Life is so easy for these kids. I can't stand it. But anyway, so they can do these online. There's also an application called the Common Application. If you go to commonapplication.com, you'll find that there are applications that go to many, many schools. So the Common Application, you can apply to U of M Ann Arbor at the same time as you're applying to Harvard with a Common Application. Those are really nice. There will be a box on there and says, are you a college student, transfer student? You are a first-time college student. You're not a transfer student, even though you may have 60 credits when you leave the Collegiate Academy. But you are a first-time college student. Everybody. Put yourself down as a first-time college student. They will look at you as if you are a dual-enrolled student coming in with extra credit, or a student that has a bunch of AP credits. Same category for this. Remember, D's do not transfer. So we'll complete your degree here, but it may not transfer. It will not transfer to the college you're looking at. You may wonder what the college transferability is like for Michigan State, Central, U of M, Dearborn. Each one of the colleges, including Michigan State, which was the last one to put it up, has transfer guidelines. So you can compare your college experience to what will transfer at that college. We know you're going to complete 60 credits. We know that College 101 does not transfer. Now you're down to 57. Chances are there will be a couple other classes that may not transfer to the college of your choice. You can start figuring out what that will be by looking at those college guidelines. If the students or the parents, you need help with that, I'd be more than happy to sit down with you and go over those college transferability requirements. Okay? Letters of recommendation. There is another form that I gave you. Ford Collegiate Academy recommendation form. I want to write you the best letter of recommendation I can. I may not know you from what you did in your high school. Filling out this form once and giving it back to me will allow me to write you the best recommendation that you have ever seen. Here's the way you'll do this. You'll fill this out, you'll give it back to me, I'll keep it on file. If you need a scholarship application recommendation, da-da. If you are applying to the University of Michigan, da-da. I will keep this on form to use for all of those recommendations. You may want to keep a copy of this yourself, and if you're going to ask your math professor to write you a letter of recommendation, hand it to him or her. Same things if you're going back to your high school and asking your counselor there to write one. Hand them this form. You want to give yourself the leg up. This will provide the information we need to make that recommendation form phenomenal. Okay? All right. It's not too early to start asking for letter of recommendations. I ask for 1 to 2 weeks to process it. So if the application deadline is September 30th and you hand it out to me on September 28th with this form, I will not guarantee I will get it in the mail in time, especially with about 50 students in the Collegiate Academy applying to multiple colleges. Okay? So just think about that before you hand in your letter of recommendation form for me to fill out. Okay? Give me 1 to 2 weeks. Questions on that? All right, let's keep going. Scholarships. I have another handout for you with the top 5 scholarship sites to look at. Of the 3 that I prefer, 2 of them were on here, and I added mine to number 6 at the bottom. So there's really 6 sites. Back in the days when we were applying for scholarships, parents, there was a book that looked like a telephone book, the thin little pages. And you would read to the bottom of the scholarship and it would say, you must be left-handed. Then you turn the page. This one looks really good. Your grandmother must have been a nurse in the World War II. Well, flip that page. And we would do this and we would look and it would be, and then you're like, oh, this one fits. And then the deadline is already passed. Those days are gone. Students, you go to these websites, you fill out a profile, and they send them to you. They send the ones that you are eligible for. I worked with both of my kids on this. I still get emails from FastWeb telling me which scholarships my kids can apply for, and my son's in his 3rd year. It's amazing. They will try to sell you on these sites. They will try to sell you cell phones, life insurance policies. You name it, they're going to try and sell it to you. Skip all that and get to the good stuff. Okay? And fill out those profiles. Sometimes students ask me, Ms. Armstrong, should I get on 1 of these or 2 of them? I say get on all of them. You might have an overlap, but those scholarship sites may take from different databases. So you might hear 3 times about a scholarship from 3 different sites, but at least you're guaranteed to hear about everything. The ones that I've had the best success with, I can't say I'm familiar with all those. I like FastWeb, I like scholarships.com, and I like Wired Scholar. So if you're going to do 2 or 3, those would be the ones I would suggest. I can't say I'm familiar with the other ones just yet.
What's the 3rd one?
Wired Scholar, which is number 6. I added it to the very bottom. Number 3, is it? 3, FastWeb, and 4, scholarships.com. Those are the ones that I prefer, but I can't say I'm familiar with all of them.
What's the best time to start on that?
Now, yesterday. Okay. Sooner the better. You will see that some will have deadlines. They'll usually break them down by when the deadlines are. But yeah, there's plenty to do. I also want you to check your Hawk Mail from me and from your high school. If you are not on your high school website, maybe you should think about going on, because very often the the high schools get scholarship information at the high schools that I may not get. So as I see them, I will put them up. But you might have something, you might want to talk to your high school counselor, say, hey, if you see anything, I'm still looking, let me know about those as well. Ashley.
What happens if you've already earned your scholarship through high school and it expires in May of this year?
We need to talk about that individually and see what we can do about that. The other thing I said is check with your family. Where they bank might be a good idea to check for a scholarship. Some through work, they have scholarships. There's even one through the Michigan Association of College Admissions Counselors has a scholarship. So these are things that as I hear about them, I'll send them your way. I put on here, the harder it is to get, the easier it is to get. Anybody want to guess what I mean by that? That what? If it's more work to fill it out, the less likely students are to do it. And therefore, the more likely they are to win it. Let me give you an example. There is a scholarship called the Ayn Rand Scholarship. It asks students to read a book called The Fountainhead. You read the book and you comment on whatever the question was. It might be on civil rights, it might be on social justice, and you write an essay. A student has just gone to FastWeb and printed out, and they have 88 scholarships that they're eligible for. And number 61 is the Ayn Rand Scholarship. How many students are going to go to number 62 really quickly? All? All. Maybe one or two won't. But that one that doesn't will be only one of 10 that reads that book and submits it for the scholarship. Are you more likely to win that one out of 10? Or the one where it says on FastWeb, give us your name and we give away a $1,000 scholarship? FastWeb is it's international. Millions of students. Your chances of winning that aren't very good. Chances of winning Ayn Rand, the Fountainhead Scholarship, are a lot better. So keep that in mind as you're looking at scholarships. Don't just negate that. If you have a unique talent, there are juggler scholarships. If you have, I saw one for building a loft at high school, designing the best loft. So if you take the time to read these, you'll be surprised at what kinds of things you may be eligible for and you never thought it existed. Be very wary of deadlines. Sometimes they say postmarked by, sometimes they say received by. Make sure you're very conscious of that when you're applying for scholarships. All right, so I give you enough to do this semester. Applying for colleges, applying for scholarships, checking out colleges, getting on parchment. And there are some people that aren't here to hear all this. So that's why I'm very lucky to have Ben Waves. Ben is a new student to the Collegiate Academy, and I asked him if he would videotape this and help me with a blog so that we can put this information out for students and parents that didn't get to attend today, that they can see this. So if you really love this presentation, then you can go back on and see it a second time. Okay. Next semester, that's when all the fun starts. You will apply to graduate. Through Henry Ford College, there's an application that you'll fill out. It's on the Henry Ford website, and it says, yes, I want to graduate, and I expect to graduate at this time. It's not like high school. In high school, we check everything and we tell you you're going to graduate or not. This one, you have to say, please, please let me graduate, and fill out the form. I'll give you more information about that as we get closer, but remember I talked about deadlines? That's February 15th or Valentine's Day deadline that you want to apply for college, for graduating. We will have our own cords. If you were at Honors Night this past June, you can wear any honors cords that you want for our ceremony, not necessarily the Henry Ford ceremony. And I'll clarify that a little bit more as we get closer to it. So, we will have 2 graduations still upcoming. There will be the Henry Ford graduation, actually there are 2 graduations. I don't know if they split it by alphabet or what your concentration was in, but you'll wear the blue cap and gown and you'll walk with other Henry Ford Associate's Degree graduates. I strongly encourage you to do that, but it's not mandatory. I would think this is a prime opportunity for parents to take pictures and to hear your name one more time. So, yes, I would like you to attend that. But the really exciting one is our graduation ceremony. I have talked to Mr. Fadlala, and he is in agreement with Dr. Shankman that we are going to make this a big shindig. This is not going to be some little thing. Parents and students are invited. Let me ask you this question. Even if we had to charge $10 for food, how many people would like to see food served at this event? A big deal, okay? Most of you would. I'm trying to get it paid for, but we may have to pay for tickets. We are inviting the mayor. We are inviting the superintendent. Anybody will be at our graduation. Dr. Shankman is retiring. Today is her last day. She's moving to California. She has promised she will be back to watch the guinea pigs graduate. Okay? She will be back for that. I don't know, I might just invite Obama, just for the heck of it. Just see what happens. If you have anybody that you think would like to be a speaker, I would consider that. What I anticipate happening is each student will get their time in the spotlight, which is why I asked for your pictures. If you attended Dearborn High or Fordson's Honors Night, you know that they put your picture on the screen and they put all your awards down. We're going to do one step better. I'm going to put your picture on the screen, but I'm going to put where you're going to college, how many credits you're taking with you, what your major is, and any accomplishments you have. Everybody will get their time in the spotlight, and we want to make this a big deal. Okay? So plan on that. I will get you dates as we start doing this. It's not going to be in this auditorium. It's going to be at a venue. We're going to make this really something.
Steak and lobster for lunch.
Pardon?
Steak and lobster.
Steak and lobster.
Well, it might be more than 10 bucks, but I'm all
All
in.
right. You said you want to make it big.
Steak and lobster. Wow, now you're talking. It will be a celebration. Also in that final semester, you'll want to go back onto Parchment and send your final transcripts off to the college that you are looking for. Yes, Mark?
If we're going to do a Collegiate Academy graduation ceremony,
I only heard if
Wait.
the graduation ceremony for the Collegiate Academy.
Since you don't have any high school classes, we don't have to wait until June. So I'm thinking sometime in May that we'll do that, after all the grades are in and recorded on your final transcript. So I'm thinking May day. Yes?
So with the final transcript, how do the HFC grades factor in?
Good question. Okay. The question is, how do the Henry Ford College grades factor into your high school? So if you pull up your Edsel Ford transcript, let's say, you will see all your high school classes and all your college classes. Any college classes counts for the 5.0 grading scale, so it will boost your GPA up. Unfortunately, most colleges will take off honors points, and many colleges take off pluses and minuses. So, you have an A- in your college calc class, it counts as a 5.0. At U of M, it will count as a 4.0. Now, if you have a B+, it might count on your college transcript as a 4.7. U of M is going to take, is that right? Yeah, because 4.7, because it's still on the honor points. However, U of M is going to take off that plus and minus and make it a straight B. So your GPA is a plain 3.0 with U of M. So, depending on the college and the plus minus system and the honor system, your GPA may change dramatically.
From college to college?
From college to college.
They're actually going to decide what your GPA is based on their scale.
They will decide what your GPA is.
But the Henry Ford classes will be factored in.
It will be factored in. They will also, though, look at the college classes, in some cases, as a separate entity for scholarships. So if you're eligible for a transfer scholarship because you're bringing in 50 credits and your overall GPA is 4.0, that may also help you in the sense that you would get a transfer scholarship as well. All right, questions on our big graduation ceremony? No. All right, let's keep walking through this financial aid. Oh, geez, you are so lucky. You have 2 years completed, you don't owe a penny. Things are about to change. So you will be applying for financial aid. They will become available January 1st, New Year's Day. It will probably be available online. It is all online now, which is so much easier than the paper copy. Parents and students, you will need to have your tax information available. Now, if you're anything like me, I wait until March or April to fill out my taxes. With the FAFSA, you can fill this out using a guesstimate. They will ask at a later time to give you the exact ones, but they can give you a good idea based on what you think your things are. The government is a very interesting character. They assume that if you have money in the bank and you have lots of assets, you should use those for college. Okay? Just keep that in mind. So when to apply? You should apply no later than Valentine's Day, How to apply, you're going to go online and fill out the FAFSA form. Who should apply? Every single person in this room. You do not know what the government has in store for you. Even me, as a high-ranking counselor in the district, was eligible for some financial aid for my kids. Sometimes it's grants. Grants is our favorite kind of money. It's the kind that they hand you with no strings attached, and you get to put that in your pocket and use it towards school. That is the best kind of money. However, only about 23% of all financial aid given out is grants. The rest are usually loans or work study. So let me explain those just a little bit. A loan is available to students and to parents. In my case with my daughter going to Madonna, fortunately she had some scholarship money for her grades and even more scholarship money for her soccer. It left me with about $4,000 a year to have to pay for room and board. They gave me a $2,000 loan, and they gave my daughter two $1,000 loans over both semesters in order to do that. I had to apply separately, and she had to apply separately. Loans are great. There's subsidized and unsubsidized loans, which means some of them have to be paid right after you graduate, and they've accumulated interest all along the way. The other one is it doesn't start accumulating interest and you don't have to pay it back until 6 months after you graduate. If you continue going to school, it just defers it even longer. So loans are not necessarily a bad idea. However, we would prefer grants. The best thing I think that's out there is this work-study program. And I'll explain just briefly how this works. If you go to the library and you want to get a job, and you are just a plain old regular student, they may pay you $10 an hour. However, if you are a work-study student, that means you get an award from the government for work-study. You go over to the library and they say, are you work-study? You say, yes. They say, we'll pay you $15 an hour. You're like, wow, that's really great. Because actually, the government is paying $7 and the college bookstore is paying $8. So actually, they're saving themselves $2 and paying you, because the rest is going to be financed by the government. Work study is awesome because very often you can work your way through school and pay off those loans instead of having them sit out there and you're going into debt. Yes, Marla?
Can we do work study this year?
You cannot do work study because you didn't apply for financial aid. Okay, good question. All right, any questions on FAFSA financial aid forms? Yes?
Do you know if you have the Indian tuition waiver, if you still do the FAFSA? Because-
Always do the FAFSA.
Okay.
Always,
because
just
they
regardless.
lab or books.
Exactly. She's talking about the tuition incentive program, or if you prepaid for college, that's always a good idea to still do the FAFSA. There are things like the Michigan Competitive Scholarship that is based on your son or daughter's scores on the ACT score. That would be covered through the FAFSA form, not through the CHIP program, or the Michigan tuition program. Okay, questions? All right, let's keep going. Miscellaneous. Some of you have attended in the past the the Middle College National Consortium Conference. We went the first year, we went to Washington, D.C. This past year, we went to Ann Arbor, Michigan for the national conference. This year, it's in Brooklyn, New York. We're excited to take students there. We're looking for up to 8 students to take this year. We'll be hearing more information about that in the next month or so. Cali. Cali was something we started so that our students could earn a little recognition to put towards college and also to help out the incoming students. I'm still looking for students that want to help tutor or give tours or meet with parents and tell them how awesome the program is, or just give some basic information. If your son or daughter hasn't yet told me that they're interested in helping that, just give me a quick ring or an email. In this way, you can, 1, count for community service hours, but 2, it helps in that letter of recommendation I'm going to write for you to say that you stepped up and helped out the underclassmen that were coming in. I do have some incoming students that are already struggling both in their high school math or possibly their secondary students taking a higher level math. I've been fortunate to send out emails, and many students have responded, I can help, I can help. I appreciate that. I'm good right now for tutors, but who knows what next semester will bring. So if you feel comfortable, especially tutoring in math seems to be our area. I would appreciate that. Students, you should all be on Remind. Nod your head if you're on Remind. Remind is a program that comes directly to your phone. Parents, you can also go on Remind. I will send updates for things that are happening in the future. I sent out a remind notice to remind people to come today. So if you are not, and if you are a parent here and you want to be on Remind, I'm going to tell you how to do it right now. You would take out your cell phone and you would type in what it says 2, who you're going to type it into. You are going to type in the numbers 8, 10, 10, 81010. And then in the message, you're going to type the @ sign, HFCA 16 for the graduating class of 16. Once you do that, it should come up with a little message that says, welcome to Mrs. Armstrong's class. Don't forget to include the @ sign. That seems to be the common problem. Through this, then I will be able to send reminders. Our next meeting is blah, blah, blah. So that's open to students and parents. At the last meeting with my students, we talked about updates. Not everybody's checking their email. Some things are too likely to put on Remind. So we talked about having a monthly meeting the first Friday of every month to kind of catch you up and do reminders. I can't make it mandatory because many of you have class. But if it is at all possible, the first Friday of every month, we're going to meet outside my office and we'll go into one of the computer labs at 2 o'clock. And I will give you updates. Unfortunately, the very first Friday, October 2nd, I'm not going to be available. So first meeting will be October 9th. Those of you that don't know or haven't visited me yet, I have a new office. It's quadruple the size of my old one. It's awesome. It's on the same orange wall, just more in the middle. Same building, same floor, but it's office 8223 instead of, what was it, 229. And with Ben's help and a few other students, I will be putting together a blog where I will put together important handouts. I went to the SAT workshop yesterday all day to learn about the new SAT. It's all being revamped, and the students that will be coming in next year will be taking the SAT instead of the ACT. They have tremendous handouts through the College Board that I collected. I'm going to put them on the blog as soon as I get out. As soon as I get that up and running, talking about what questions to ask at a college visit, what things you should look for in different colleges to suit you. So I'm going to put those on the blog. There were way too many to run off for you tonight. Now I can take a deep breath and listen to your questions. I know that there was a lot I covered. If you need clarification or you have anything else you want to know, please get me now.
What was the code for the Remind?
8, 10, 10, and then @ HFCA 16. Thank you.
The conference in Brooklyn, is parents allowed?
Pardon me?
Parents allowed?
Oh, don't you wish? No, it's only for students.
What if I volunteer my own time?
Well, we might talk about that. If you paid your own way, I could probably work it.
All right.
Tom says, this year's topic is diversity. Last year, we've done social justice. We've done, what was last year's?
Rest to renewal.
Rest to renewal. So, okay, I know you have some. Go ahead, take me up. Stump me. Stump Mrs. Armstrong. Yes.
Did you say they're revamping the ACT or the SAT?
SAT.
Oh, okay.
SAT will be the new test of choice for Michigan.
So,
No worries.
I already took the ACT and did very well on it. Do you recommend that I take the new SAT or?
The new SAT will come into play in January. Unfortunately, he should be all applied for colleges by then.
Oh, so.
No point. If you want to take the old SAT, you can, but it's going to be the old version. Here's the thing on the new. This scared a lot of people away on the SAT. Vocabulary words. There would be a word sitting out there and you had to come up with what its meaning was. They changed it now, for example, to be vocabulary in context. So in the actual passage. There's no science on the new SAT. Science is embedded in the reading, writing, and math sections. So it's some really cool, interesting changes. This question was, why did Michigan go for that? I think because they gave us a better deal than ACT gave us in the state of Michigan. And it was a surprise to all of us. None of us knew what was happening, and then all of a sudden it was there. Yes?
For the conference of
The fee for that? Okay, so this is a tough one. So last year we were able to pay for everybody's fee, but because we had no transportation costs. I'd like to say we'd be able to do that again, but we're going to have the transportation costs that would be added in, so it'll probably be a couple hundred extra. So plan on, I'd say between $200 and $300 would be your portion. But you can do fundraising, we'll talk about that. You want to go? I know you want to go. Yes.
So you know how we can like take the HFCA again?
Yes.
Are we still eligible for like the waiver numbers if we get it?
Okay, so her question is a very good one. Sometimes there are fee waivers if you need that so that you don't have to pay for the test. Normally those are handled in high school. I guess technically I'm in high school now. So yes, we're eligible. Okay, last minute questions? All right, I have the same old phone number. I have same kind of office area. I'm still available. Let me know if there's anything I can do for you. Actually, one last question.
It's probably a dumb question, but.
No questions are dumb. Only dumb ones are the ones that aren't
You used to
asked, right?
graduate with an associate's of liberal arts or associate's in science. Say they're going into pre-engineering or architecture or whatever. What are they graduating with now? The science in, say, pre-engineering, or how are they?
Okay, so that's a great question, and it's not dumb because probably a lot of people here are wondering the same thing. You will get, for example, an Associate's of Arts or an Associate's of Science. What your major is what you choose when you're picking out your program evaluation. So you'll have an Associate of Science majoring in pre-engineering. That's how it works. Just because you have an associate's degree, don't think all of your classes in that associate's degree will transfer. It depends from school to school. So just because we required you to take Biology 131, the college that you're transferring may say, I don't want Bio 131, I want Chem 141. Usually they will count it as elective, but I can't say that's set in stone. And the more difficult the college to get into, the less likely they are to take those elective credits. You know what I'm saying? Michigan State continues to try my patience because they seem to be the most difficult to transfer into. They have a lot of requirements depending on the program that you're going into. If you're interested in Michigan State, I strongly urge you to come to the Michigan State visits and hear from the reps personally. They have certain requirements that they only will take up to 32 transferable credits in some programs.
They do a full, which day?
Michigan State's day was October 12th, both in the afternoon and 9 o'clock in the morning for just Michigan State. Let's tell Michigan State how happy we are. And then the open house is that evening on October 12th. And that's where you can talk more specifically about transfer credits.
Can you do a full associate degree transfer? Transfer the whole degree and then take.
Most schools will not transfer the whole degree. They're going to transfer the classes that they're familiar with. Yeah. So you may have 60 credits and 51 transfer. It's class by class.
They don't have like the 3+1 or
They do, but that's outside of our associate's degree Collegiate Academy program. Because we have an associate's degree finished here. So, which is a good point. It's kind of elaborate, but there are some programs that have like a 3+1. So you would complete 3 years of the requirements here and then transfer over to Wayne State for 1 more year. But that's outside of the Collegiate Academy. We still want you to graduate with your associate's degree. If you decide to stay for another year to complete a program like a 3+1, then that's all on your own.
Can you explain again what to do if the
computer literacy test that doesn't show up on your transcript?
Okay, so the computer literacy test, we did something different because it was on our own students. I noticed that it wasn't on there. So I worked with Mr. Fadlala, who is a principal, not a counselor, and I submitted a list to him, and he has taken it to the registrars to fight our battle to get it on there. I don't know what's taking so long, but it'll be there.
We want to mention, talk on the application for graduation day.
Great question. We talked a little bit earlier today on the phone about when you're filling out applications, what is your graduation date and year? I suggest June 15th, 2016. Maybe June 1st, but it's not 2000. We want to make sure that they understand that you are graduating high school right before you go to their college.
So we're gonna put in 12th year, or like if they ask us what grade we're in, we're gonna put 12th grade?
12th grade.
Okay.
Even in the computers, right now you're considered 12th grade.
Okay.
But the actual graduation is it's not in June.
It won't be in June, but that's what they'll recognize. If we put down May 1st, they're gonna say, wait, why did they graduate? No, because they're gonna be thinking 12th grade finishes in June. So we'll just keep it easy for them.
So the bottom line is apply to the professional,
Apply as a freshman to the college,
not the transfer.
not a transfer. And we like that because schools will then evaluate you as an incoming freshman for all scholarships and all programs. So if they have a special program that's just for freshmen, like, I'm thinking at the University of Michigan, they have residential colleges. Residential colleges are where you take classes and you live in your dorm and take classes in your dorm. So for example, you're a theater major, they have a theater in the dorm, you take classes in theater, that's only open to incoming freshmen. You would be eligible for that program at University of Michigan, even though you might have 60 credits. Love it. Morgan?
The college visit says that October 8th is when U of M Dearborn comes in.
Yes.
It doesn't have a time though?
Yeah, we're working on the time.
Oh,
I just have a date as of right now. Check your emails as I set them up. You'll be hearing more about the dates, so check your email, check your mind. And I appreciate your time in coming today, and I did pretty darn good getting out of here now. Okay, thanks everybody. You're welcome.